Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, peeps? So in this episode, we have Cam Parker, aka Painkiller Cam.
What?
We talk about some incredible stuff, such as the power of exploring your passions early on in life, as well as actually listening to our parents and the lessons they have to teach us to help us grow.
Yeah, and we also dive into some of the rituals that Cam uses to channel in his personal creativity, as well as what it's like to meet your personal idols. So let's dive into this podcast and let's get started. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Roberto Guido.
And my name is Marissa Lewis.
And together we are
the Dos Cocos Locos.
And welcome to our podcast.
So our goal with this podcast is to drop as much coconut fire, which is our way of saying life/business knowledge bombs, for creatives that don't necessarily know much about life or business, through conversations with one another as well as with other fellow creatives and dope people.
Our story has a lot of twists and turns, but basically we started by selling coconuts at the beach, and now we have our own photography and videography business. And it's through these conversations that we were able to really learn how to navigate this thing called life. Enjoy.
What up, peeps? So today,
Hey!
we have Cam Parker. This is insane.
This is
I'm
crazy.
really excited.
I feel really honored to be doing this with you guys.
Hey.
For real.
I mean, thank you. That probably should have been
Yeah.
I do, for real.
Dude,
it's like a big deal. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Literally, Cam's house and Betty Doll's house is probably two of the coolest places we've been
For real.
on earth, hands down. Hands down. This is
Hands
dope.
down, this is incredible.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to do a tour later.
Yeah, get some B-roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know what B-roll is, but yes.
Yeah, it's nice slow motion,
Okay.
cinematic.
Of everything.
Cool, I'm
Yeah,
here for that.
yeah, you'll
This whole
see
house,
it.
every wall
Okay.
is gonna be in there somewhere.
Yeah,
Cool.
we'll figure it out. But okay, so Cam, we like to start all our podcasts with this question, and then we just take it from there and see
Okay.
where the conversation goes.
I think I'm ready.
But in one, I hope you're ready. But in one question, or in one sentence, what is it that you do? So it can be as long or as short as you want, but in one all-encompassing sentence, what is it that
Are you
you
ready?
do? Yeah, let's go.
I'm ready.
Are you guys ready?
Are
That's
you
the real
ready?
question.
My sentence is really short, and it's gonna sound like a joke, but I'll explain why
Okay.
it is what it is.
Okay.
I trust you.
Okay. All right. Okay, you ready? I have to try not to
Fine
laugh
zen.
while I do it or while I say it. Okay, so I change lives. It's not in a cocky way. I change I'm a life changer, but in a funny way, I'm a life changer. Because I, with my art, with the things that I make, with the I don't know, photos that I take with people and getting to meet photographers and fellow artists and collaborating and whatever. I like to hopefully feel like I leave an impression or I leave something with whoever I'm working with or get to talk to or whatever. And usually some sort of friendship is forged from that exchange. You know what I mean? So it's I'm a life changer. But I also feel like they changed my life too. So I feel like I can honestly say I'm a life changer because it's a mutual exchange of energy transference. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Wow,
I
that was a
love
great.
That was
a great.
epic. Yeah.
Thanks.
Dude, honestly, I totally see that too, because the first time we met you, you were actually painting this here in the background.
Yeah.
And we're like,
It just
happened to be
there.
we didn't plan this. But literally, the first time we met you, you were painting that. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. And we were with our cameras and we're like, hey. But you greeted us so nicely. You knew us forever. And you're like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, if you want, you can get some video of me. And we're like, okay, cool. And then you're super nice, and that really to us that made a big impact, because we're like, wow, we're still relatively new to the area, and here is someone that's just
I know, right?
a nice person. Yeah. So
I just mainly wanted you guys to feel at home. With me, if you didn't get to meet or talk to or have a good experience with anybody else, that was the goal. I wanted you guys to remember that, because I remember it and it was special. It was fun. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's so cool. You definitely have just this warm, welcoming, just
Thanks.
Everything.
Yeah,
Thanks.
like a dad type / mom type
Thank
vibe.
you.
That's exactly what it is.
Thank you. I like when people I like when like friends like Javi and Macy and Javi, Macy and like all of you guys. Like I like when they call me like art dad, because like that's how I feel. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'll text with like questions or like what is da 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 or how do I da 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 da, and I'm constantly learning from them too. So but just having this kind of core unit of this like big art creator family is really cool. You know,
I love it.
It's really gratifying. Yeah, I like it.
So like, were you always like that, or like how did you become Cam, like Painkiller Cam? Like how did that come to be?
Well, okay, so physically, like literally the name came from high school. Like they would call me camshaft and I was like, what's a camshaft? And somebody was like, it's a car thing. And I was like, okay. And then everybody, for the most part, would be like, when I would walk in, it'd be like, Killer Cam, Killer Cam. And then somebody was like, Painkiller Cam. And I was like, oh, I like that. And I didn't know what I was going to like, what that was going to mean down the road, but it kind of always stuck. And it was like, you know, when you hear that like, ting.
You're like, that's it. That's that's who I am.
Yeah, so I didn't know. I had always been doing art since pretty much like I was in kindergarten, you know what I mean? But I didn't correlate that it was going to be kind of like who I was to come, you know what I mean? So so that was fun. But I've just always been kind of like doing this and making and creating. Like when I was in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, kind of 6th grade, I was drawing pictures of people's like grandparents and they were paying me. Like,
what?
Yeah,
no
it was
way.
and I made like
hustle, man.
Like bookmarks and things that I would draw on. And
that is so cool.
Yeah, and like between classes I'd be like, yeah, that's 25 cents. No, that's 50 cents. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think it's just kind of always been there to not necessarily like the money, the hustle part, but like that too.
Yeah.
But like the feeling the need to create and make things. Adele, stop doing that on camera. Yeah, good.
She like, fine, I'll do it in the corner.
but yeah, that's kind of always been there. My parents are that way too. My dad had a catering company, and that's, you know, kind of how we grew up. Like my sister and I were waiting tables with like trays above our heads, you know, at like 9 and 10, like, hey, what do you need? How can I da-da-da-da-da? And he just raised us to to articulate and to be able to speak to anybody that we came across, adults, kids, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, it would be, at first we were kind of shy, and people would speak to us like, hey, how are you? And we'd look up at him and he'd be like, no, you speak to them. You tell them how you're doing. You know what I mean? So it got to the point where it was like, don't look at that. We got to speak for ourselves. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of, it just kind of birthed that vibe.
I love that.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Thanks.
So you've been painting forever.
Kind of, yeah.
Like forever.
Yeah, I really have.
How did you, so did you always just know this is what I'm going to do for, like, for the rest of my life?
Like, okay, this is going to sound crazy, but like, literally in preschool, I knew that because it just felt good. Like it made me, like I would get like we would do like daycare and preschool, and you know what you do kind of around that early age or whatever. And I would get home, and I remember starting at my grandmother's house. She was amazing. Like she left me so many records, you know what I mean, and just being able to like I didn't know that was going to be the tangent, but yeah, that's how it goes. She kind of instilled in us like, be black, be proud, you know, you can do whatever you want out here, you know what I mean? And they were like these regal people, and they threw these parties, and they were all about, she loved Oprah, and like that's why I love Oprah, you know what I mean? And you know, she had right? She had like all these albums, and like Kiss, and like Queen, like just all these like dope records. And I would just sit and look at this wall of records, and you know, when it came time for her to, you know, she was kind of declining and whatnot, and this was she had dementia, and so before that, I was like, I don't want anything else. I just really, really, really want those records. Like, I just really, they're special to me. I don't know if anybody else is going to like want them or whatever. And so I have a good bit of the collection of records that
are those all the ones that are in your
room?
For the most part. And then there's some in that suitcase right there. There's some out in the shed. There's they're just tucked everywhere. There's probably some under the couch. But so I always felt extra creative when I was at my grandmother's house. And so that's kind of where it started. And I was like, oh, I feel like I need to draw like a cat or a dog or whatever. And then, you know, I would go home, you know, like after the weekend was over, and I'd be like, Dad, I need you to show me how to draw a cat. And then the next day it'd be a house, and the next day it'd be a bike. And then I stopped asking after that, you know what I mean? And it was just like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go with it. And I just pretty much never stopped, you know what I mean? I've always had, up until about 2015, I've been doing art full time, but up until then I was doing like retail management. I was managing Journeys, Zoomies, Vans, any other skate store, retail. But at about 2015, I was like, okay, it was making me kind of feel away. I was like, I'm not happy. I'm being kind of like mean to people when I get home, and that's not how it should be. You know what I mean? Right. And so I put in my 2 weeks notice, and I was like, this is my time now to make it or break it, pretty much. Like, I have to decide and see if I can like make this work. And I just like forged out and just like started. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
I know, it felt like a lot. It was scary, you know?
Yeah. I bet.
Really, really. And it sometimes still is scary, you know? But it just...
Same boat. Same boat,
yeah. And you just make it work, and you just... you make connections, and you hope for the best, and you keep it moving, honestly. And I know that you guys can relate to that. You know, when I don't necessarily have a project that is like next up on the queue, I'm like, okay, all right, what I can do is I'm going to make this thing and just get this out of my system, and, you know, I'll post that, or I don't know, whatever, make it visible to the world.
Right.
And
that you're still working.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that will kind of ignite something else. And, you know, someone will be like, oh my God, that reminds me, I need, you know. And so my dad always told us, you know, God honors movement. And so if you just, you might not know necessarily where it is that you need to go, but if you're constantly moving, like you can be walking on a path and be like, there's a log across this path. Okay, I need to turn around. I need to go on this fork. Right. You wouldn't know what was down that path, and with the log, and you wouldn't be on that new path if you hadn't continued on that log path. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's really
like,
true.
That's a really roundabout way of saying it,
I
but
like that.
you know what I mean?
Movement.
Yeah. It's so true. Yeah.
Dang, your dad is a wise man.
For real.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. Wow. Both my parents, they just ingrained in us, and I think that's why my sister and I are both. Amber, she does loudmouth lips, and she's getting ready to go to like DragCon, and she's in there like I'll be painting at like, I don't know, sometimes 2 and 3:30 in the morning, and she'll be on her headphones and like whipping up lipstick, and she'll be like, come here, tell me if this gold is gold enough, and you know what I mean? Yeah. And then she'll be my kind of sounding board, because she, like, you know, I feel like our immediate circle of people we can ask, and hey, what do you think about this? And it's not like a yes man, like, oh my God, that's so good. Because you don't want that.
Honestly,
you know what I mean?
No, you need real
yes man.
criticism.
No. Yes. And and she definitely tells me when it ain't hot. She's like, nope, no. And she's really creative, but I feel like we are very creative on completely different wavelengths. I like to say, like, our parents say, oh my God, you're so right brain, Cam, and she's so left brain, she's so analytical, but she's still really creative, you know what I mean? But she sees things in a more generalized kind of like face value kind of way than I do a lot of things. So like I'll show her something and she'll be like, why is that way? And I'm like, oh my God, I did not even, you know what I mean? And sometimes I get mad because I'm like, dang, I didn't, like, I've been looking at this for 12 hours and I did not see that, you know? But that's why you have those sounding boards to kind of give you a different perspective, you know?
I love that.
So who would you say are some like artists or just like any kind of influence that you draw your inspiration from?
Oh my God, man, so many. Do you mean artists or like
anything?
Okay.
Anything. Any place you draw your inspiration from?
Man, a lot of it is really pop culture based because like that's just my jam. Like I there's things that I love about pop culture and pop culture icons, and definitely things that I do not love. And both of those things I try to have some sort of like narrative or some sort of point of view on. Like, say if I'm gonna create Beyonce from The Homecoming, like as soon like, let's just start there. Because, like, as soon as I saw...
oh, my God, it was beautiful.
Netflix, you know, that... Even the cover image on Netflix, I was like, oh...
I know.
I was like... Dude. And it was... The cover image stuck with me so much and so hard. I'm looking at the TV because that was a direction that I was looking at. But that was the initial... My reaction was like, oh my God, that image. And I knew for a fact that it came out on the 17th of April or something. And I couldn't watch it until like the 20th or the 21st because of like a deadline that I was on. Yeah. And so with me personally, if I'm gonna paint in front of the TV or paint with music or whatever, more so if I'm gonna paint in front of the TV, I can only watch certain things. Like I can only watch something that I can mostly listen to. Okay. Because I can't sit and paint to you're not like looking at Homecoming that I need to see every freaking like pixel. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
that was so great.
Yeah. Insane. So my initial what I remember about that was that still on Netflix and like that cover image of like the album or whatever. I was like, I need to do something and recreate that. I have to like keep this moment like real, you know what I mean? And then just watching the watching the concert documentary as I was painting, and you know, because I'd already seen it like 3 times. So then I can let myself, so then I can just let myself listen to it as like a soundtrack, pretty much. You know what I mean? And just allowing myself to create that image in a different way, because I really wanted to like kind of turn it on its head and do it in a way that was like me and like for me. It wasn't a commission. It wasn't, I think it may have sold, but I'm not sure yet. It was for me, and I needed to get that out of my system. And it was like my celebration of like that moment and that inspiration. Because like when you watch that documentary, you feel like you can, okay, all right. Like, there's 24 hours in the day, and if she's got them, I got them. You know what I mean? Yes. So it was really empowering. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and just like Beyonce, Oprah, I mean Gaga, like I look at old 50s movies on Netflix, and I'm like, oh man, that hair swoop, really cool, or like the fashion or the way the dramatics of it all. You know what I mean? There's just so many. Alexander McQueen is my favorite fashion designer. There's so many things that I like draw inspiration from. That lavender record player over there, when my parents gave that to me for Christmas, I was like, how'd you guys know that I would need a lavender freaking record player? You know what I mean? Just little things. It's always the little things for me that that I gather most inspiration from, pretty much.
Dude, that's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, so good about it. Yeah.
I feel like as creatives, so like we're all creatives, but we each have like our own little niche. But like I feel like we do appreciate those small things, and I think like that's what makes life so beautiful when we're just like walking around and just like the other day I was eating a grape and I'm like, dang, like the journey this grape had to do to end up in the plate in front of me
and be real good.
Yeah, and be real good. It's just crazy, and you're just like mind blown, like those small things. Like you just appreciate those things. So that's awesome, man.
I think since we started this, like taking photo and video for real, like actually doing this for real, like it's crazy. Like you said, it's crazy how you look at the world so differently. Like everything though, just lighting, like how something hits, like that vase over there, I'm looking at how it's hitting the light, and that's really cool to go through that. Like everything just has a different like meaning.
I feel like it is I feel like it's a gift to be able to look at something and have like a different kind of appreciation for that thing. I really wish that I could remember this example, but I was talking to my sister or my dad or something, and I was we were looking at something. It was just the equivalent to like a vase or something, and they were like, "Oh, that's really nice." Da 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 da. I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "But if you turn it upside down or something like that," and I was like, "I'm not looking at it. I'm looking through it." Yeah. And it was the way that the light was like shining up through it, and it had like it was it was almost kind of like a figure 8 shape. The bottom was a little bit bigger, and I was like, if you just flip it, the light would like almost like cascade up into the entire room. And I was like, I'm not necessarily looking, I'm appreciating the vase, but I'm looking at it and through it in a different way. And I was like, it could almost be like a light source, you know what I mean? So just things like that, you know?
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So like, what's one thing, so you started like officially full-time back in 2015. So like, what's one lesson that you've learned like through those 3 years that really stuck out to you? Like, dang, like this is something I'm going to carry for the rest of my life, kind of thing.
Knowing when to say no. Knowing when to, man, like, wow, that's a really good question because there's so many. You know what I mean? No, like knowing when to say no, and pretty much just like to cover all those bases, knowing what you will accept and what you won't accept. Creatively, professionally, monetarily, because I feel like everybody's got like a line and everybody's got a set of like boundaries and a set of like personal, like, this is what I'm not going to go outside of. I will go outside and I will sit on top of a trash can in my underwear with a spoon and peanut butter and sunglasses and a backwards cap and Vans on my feet and take a really dope photo. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know people who will not do that, will not pose in their underwear, will not, you know what I mean? Will not, I was gonna say will not like advertise peanut butter. I know people that like can't stand it that much.
True.
You know what I mean? So there's a set of.
That's not I love peanut butter.
Me too. So there's a set of I just think everybody's got their own set of
core values. I think.
And just knowing those and going with your gut and respecting it, because there are things that I've done just professionally that I wasn't necessarily like comfortable with. I was like, oh, I really don't want to do that project, but I'm going to do it because I feel like I need like exposure, because I feel like da-da-da-da-da. But that was what I felt like I needed to do like in that moment. And so was it a bad decision? No, not really. But now looking back and now going forward, do I feel like I need to do it again? No, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But I just feel like I was afraid to say no for a very long time, and it made me stretch myself way too thin.
Gotcha.
And getting that kind of that flow in your schedule of yes, no. Yes, no.
Right.
It could be no, yes. No, yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's just what works for you. And I feel like for anybody, entrepreneur, professional, retail, garbage man, whatever you're doing, like go with your gut and literally take on what you feel like you can take on, and take on what you feel like you can like for real look in the mirror and be like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that.
That
you
you're
know
excited
what I mean?
about.
Yes.
And not just like, okay, I'll do this.
Exactly.
I gotta do
and
this.
be kind of like wishy-washy, or like if you're not feeling like you're gonna give like 1,000% in it, then don't do it. You know?
True.
Yeah.
Damn.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
Wearing a painkiller can with the knowledge bomb.
Sometimes we need to hear that.
No, yeah, it's true.
There's
It's
some things
true.
that we do that we don't love to do, but we feel like we have to do it, so we do it anyway.
And then there's kind of the flip side of that too. There's like kind of like, I call it paying dues, because I'm still out here paying dues, and there's things that I'm like, all right, okay, I'll do it because it's got to be done, and it is what it is. And then there's kind of the flip side where it's like, am I going to be able to look in the mirror and fully respect this project, or fully respect the work that I put into this? If I'm not into it and I know it's not going to be what I want it to be at the end of it, I'm just not going to do it, you know? So I think just being able to decipher and like toggle between those kinds of, factors is really important.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, guys.
Life
so yeah, straight up life lessons. So we're gonna take a quick little pause, reset these cameras, and then we'll keep on going.
Hey, how's it going? It's intermission time, and I'm gonna take this time to let you guys know that I've had the pleasure of working with Painkiller Cam on not one but 2 different projects. Now, he's an amazing artist, and he allowed me to try to help present his art to the world. And truly, I'm honored. So I actually just want to show you guys those videos. I'm gonna play one right now, and then later on in the podcast, you're gonna get another one, and just enjoy. It was so much fun to shoot. It was amazing. Make sure to follow Painkiller Cam Parker on Instagram. And also, you're more than welcome to check out Lucky Cat Visual on Instagram. I'll see you guys around.
I can make you put your phone down. 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 And we cruise through the city.
All right, guys, and we're back. What's up? Dang. So while we were resetting the cameras, we were talking about like the process that people don't really get to see, like the behind the scenes of. So Painkiller Cam, do you mind just kind of sharing like your overall process when it comes to like making a painting or a project or something like that? Like, what's your workflow?
Like how?
Like
how does
like we saw you do that, and I'm still like, dang, how did you do that?
like the layers that went into this.
It's
just incredible. And
thanks.
like when it was a blank canvas, we're like, wait, what? Like how?
Me too.
How?
Thanks. And I'm like, now I'm still kind of like, me too. Yeah, because I think the way that I would explain it is it's literally like, you guys will understand this. It's literally like God, for the most part, kind of doing it through me. And there are minutes when, not even minutes, there are like spans of time where I don't necessarily black out, but
you know,
I feel that.
It's interesting that you say that, because another individual that we had on the podcast said basically the same thing, that they just like kind of like blacked out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you kind of go in the zone, and you just kind of let the energy. People can classify it as whatever they want. The universe, God, J-Lo, whatever. you can classify it as whatever that energy is that comes through you. Because I feel like I don't feel like any of what we do is just us.
Right.
It's because art and music and photography, it's just all so much bigger than us. And I don't think we as like human beings this idea just came, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And the execution of it, like the actual paint laying or editing or whatever it is, I don't think that just comes and it's just an accident. It's, that looks so good. It's bigger than us, you know what I mean? And so, like, to answer your question, the process of it,
That was perfect.
is, like, a lot of times I'll set out with like a plan, or like I will set out with, okay, this is what I want it to look like. I feel like I can get it done in this amount of time. I'm gonna use this color palette, and I'm gonna use this set of brushes, and I'm going to, what else goes into it? I'm gonna listen to this. I'm going to, like, a lot of times I will know that I'm going to watch, as many Friday the 13th as Netflix, Hulu, Amazon will like stream to me, and because that's the vibe that I know that I'm gonna be on. And so there are some things that I can fully control, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna listen to I'm gonna listen to all of Diana Ross, only Diana Ross today while I'm making this. You know what I mean? And then I'll think that piece is gonna come out like exactly how I envision it, or like according to a sketch or whatever. It does not. No, like 9 times out of 10, it's kind of taken on its own like life form, and it's kind of told me what it needs to be in order to be right. You know what I mean? Because you can try to control it, and you can try to manipulate it to the best of your abilities, but it starts to get, for me personally, it starts to get into where you're like forcing it. It's like, And it's almost it feels like this. It feels like it's like nope, I don't want to do that.
We're going this way.
Yeah, and if you take me straight when I'm telling you I need to turn, it's not gonna look right. It's not gonna feel right. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna spill some paint. You know what I mean? Like all these things that you can just feel are gonna happen if you don't just let it do what it wants to do. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things in the process that I know for a fact that I always wear thick socks. Like in the dead of summer, I always wear thick socks while I'm painting and like usually sweats. And then like I'll get cold and I'll get hot and I'll get cold and I'll get like, I know that.
That's interesting.
That, right? I know the first time that I start to like sweat, like get really sweaty, I know that I'm on the right track and I'm like, all right, that first sweat has happened. Okay, cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then I'll get cold again and I'll be like, okay, all right. We passed that first sweat? Okay, we're good. It's almost like when you're looking at a white piece of paper they have to type, I don't know, anything on. And it's just a white ass piece of paper. You know what I mean? So after that sweat, it's like, all right, okay, cool. Okay, all right, I can loosen up a little bit. And then it just kind of goes from there. But there are certain things that I wait for to happen, and that's one of them. Yeah,
that is an interesting, like, thing that you do.
Yeah,
I would never know that.
Every single time.
Thick socks.
Thick socks all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Even in like 90-degree weather.
Yeah, like if I'm sometimes I'll paint outside.
Yeah. But usually inside then.
Yeah, usually inside
with air.
Yeah, and I'll usually and it doesn't matter necessarily what the air is set on, and sometimes I'll double up my socks too because I like to feel like squishy kind of when I'm at least when I'm starting to create.
Right.
I want to feel as comfortable as possible. And I want to feel, to start out, as warm as possible. I don't know if I'm trying to subliminally, subconsciously make that sweat happen, the first sweat.
Right.
But because I didn't even realize really any of that until we sat down today. But yeah, it always works like that. And yeah.
When was the first time you put on socks and were like, this is it? This is gonna be my thing.
It's been forever. Like,
because that's an interesting like add-on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
Like very specific to the process
technique.
of your work.
Yeah,
I guess that's the word I'm looking for. It's an interesting technique.
Yeah, I've only lived in Florida, Tampa for about I think it's going on 8 years, maybe going on 9. I'm not sure, but I've always lived up north, Illinois, and then I lived in Nashville, and then I came to Florida. I was born in Illinois in Springfield, Champaign. Carbondale, Illinois. Wow, whoa,
Where's the word?
That's how life has been going. So I've more so always been up north. So I'm used to like snow. I'm used to shoveling driveways. I'm used to, and I was like trying to run away from it. So now I think now that I can like really throw on the socks, and it's like, I'm in Florida. I don't care. It's like I do it regardless, and it's just a really specific thing that I do that I like need. I like need it to start. I need it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's cool. Thank you for sharing that part of your mind. That's very. I'm gonna try that. Like I'm editing, I'm gonna try it. Like, that's crazy.
And especially, I don't know if you guys have like whether you have carpet or whether you have like hard floors or whatever. Like just kind of like moving your feet and like sliding your feet and just like feeling your feet on a surface inside of thick socks. I'm going way too deep into thick socks, but I'm shocked that I'm not wearing any right now. But
as am I.
Yeah, like really weird.
Dang, very cool.
So that's that.
I gotta try that. You never know. You never know what is gonna work for you.
You don't, and then when you find whether you realize that is the thing or a thing, you keep doing it because it feels right, whether you know that you're doing it or not. Yeah,
that's very true. Dang. So, Painkiller Cam, what's one thing that you would say to someone who just moved to Tampa? Because like for us, we were kind of we're still relatively new. She kind of grew up here, but we both met at Fort Myers, and then we came back to do this business thing. But we've just been here since July, and we've seen Tampa been like blowing up lately. Like there's like a new restaurant popping up like almost every other day. There's like all these events going on. So like, what's something that I guess what would you say to yourself when you first moved to Tampa? Like what's one piece of advice? Because that was a little bit a while ago.
So okay, this is really that's kind of weird, but when I first moved to Tampa, I did not do anything, go meet people for like 2 years. I didn't do anything here. I just stayed in. I was working retail, but still, I could have back then been like, okay, I'm gonna get in the scene. I'm gonna get my feet wet. I'm gonna figure out art shows. I'm gonna whatever. I did not. I was I don't know what the feeling was. I wasn't scared and I wasn't nervous. I think I was just I was like complacent and I was comfortable. And I was like justifying my work hustle, my 9 to 5 with no, it's okay. I'll figure that. I'll do that later. I gotta get the store right. I'm busy. I gotta get the store right. I gotta make sure the schedule's done. I got da. Oh, she's calling me because she can't come in. Oh, everybody's problem is my problem. You know what I mean? And so I was kind of on this loop of like excuses from working a job, which I feel like you can full on. Work a more than 9 to 5 and still side hustle, be creative on the side. 100%. You know what I mean? You just can. So what I would say to me and other people who are just coming to Tampa or just moving to anywhere who want to get into their desired field and get their feet wet and meet people is just go do it. Like, and you cannot be literally look it up. We live in an age of, sorry, my lips are really dry. And we live in an age of technology where there are quite literally there are no excuses for not knowing something, not being able to find something, not knowing where something is located or what's going on because and especially here because the papers and the resources that we have, creative loafing, you know what I mean?
Yes.
They're getting ready to do like a summer fun. I'm kind of on the cover. I'm not talking about that because I'm about to be on the cover. But it's it just came out. But
it's gonna be on the cover.
They're doing a what to do, what's summer gonna be made of, concerts and events and fests in the park and Ebor and whatever. So there's a bunch of resources that we now have that we didn't, even freaking 10 years ago, that we can figure out how to connect and meet up with each other. And I say, it's way easier, I think, said than done to just be just go do it. Don't be shy. Don't be whatever. Just put yourself out there. Putting yourself out there is so, oh my God. It's one of the most vulnerable, squishy, I just envision poking Jello. It is one of the most
good way to describe it.
sensitive things that a person can do because you're putting yourself out there, for rejection, for you might be too weird for whatever. I'm here for being too weird for anything. You know what I mean? I'm here for knowing what you're doing and the path that you're on is the path that you should be on. You know what I mean? And I always tell people I have bad taste, but I know that I have bad taste. I know okay, how can I explain it?
How do you have bad taste?
I kind of have good taste.
you have good taste.
Thanks.
Look at the comment.
Thank you. Thanks. I feel like I have good taste, and I feel like I have bad taste because I know what good taste is. So I can, if I look at something or a pair of boots or I don't know, a magazine cover, I'm like, oh my God, that is so trashy. I'm saying it that's hot. You know what I mean? That is so trashy and hot, and it's specifically the aesthetic of trash and dumpster that they were going for.
Right.
And I get it. You know what I mean? And I can also look at an interior magazine and look at a living room and be like, dang, I wouldn't have done it like that, but that's my taste. Right. You know what I mean? So I do feel like I have a very specific aesthetic as far as taste, personal style. I love when people know the difference between I'm just rambling.
That's great. I'm loving it. Keep going.
I know when people I love when people know the difference between fashion or trendiness, and then there's like personal style. I feel like personal style is timeless, personal style is effortless, personal style is one's being. You know what I mean? Somebody can, my favorite personal style is when someone wears a white t-shirt rolled up like this, jeans, rolled up jeans, backwards cap, frontwards cap, Chucks, Vans, whatever it is that you do, shades all day, every day, or a black blazer. And, black blazer, ripped up jeans, clean pumps. Like when someone's personal style is so them, effortless, clean, intentional. You know what I mean? Like I'm 9 times out of 10 gonna be in black skinnies, a cutoff, backwards cap, gold watch, spacers. You know what I mean? And like a fanny pack, usually if I'm going somewhere, and it just works. You know what I mean? I don't wanna wear Gucci. I don't wanna wear a blazer. I don't wanna wear. I love Gucci, and I love all of those things that are considered to be high end. I don't feel like you need them. My favorite thing to do. Is today Wednesday? Okay. So my favorite thing to do.
Wait, what's on Wednesday?
On Wednesdays is to go to Salvo up on I think it's Nebraska. It's right before you get to what's the cutoff? Salvation Army.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
I was like, wait, what is that?
Yeah, because clothes are half off on Wednesdays. So that's my favorite thing to do is to go fishing through the literal. The store has a length of a row of t-shirts, top and bottom, and I just literally for $1, like t-shirts. I go through, I cut them off, boom. You know what I mean? I'll go through and I'll find like denim and like camo jackets that I can just like. I just have a ton in my closet for like painting on, or for like if I'm going to something and I know that I need to put a portrait of something on the back of one of them, I have a backup because I do it every Wednesday typically. You know what I mean? So just things like that. You know.
That's awesome.
I don't feel like you need to spend like a cajillion dollars on something. It can be $1 and it can be hot. Because you say it's hot. If you tell me it is hot, I'm like,
okay.
Who gonna check it? Like,
I'm not wearing that.
Exactly.
Do your thing. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so true.
That's
I love
cool.
thrifting. For real.
Same.
Yeah. That's
It's the way to go.
It's an art too. Because like I used to get so mad because friends of mine would. They would go and I'd be like, oh my God, how'd you find that? How did you? And it's just like, it's like time. It takes time and it takes a little bit of patience and it takes literally thumbing through the rack. And when you do it, you know, sometimes you find nothing. Sometimes you find way too much. Like me, usually. I'm like, why am I spending another freaking whatever the dollar amount is? But you try to justify it because you're like, okay, I can take this camo jacket and I can put something on the back of it and turn it and like take it to a festival or wear it somewhere or Instagram it or whatever. And I'm always trying to figure out, okay, if I'm going to spend XOXOXO, how can I make XOXOXOXOXOXO on by tweaking it or customizing it or whatevering it, you know what I mean? And
that's true.
Yeah, so as long as you can justify the purchase, it's all good.
Totally.
Dang. Wow.
How many jackets would you say you've done? Because your jackets are amazing.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Like for real.
Let's go a little bit more in depth as far as like what the jackets are for. Like you've done some dope stuff with that.
Thanks.
So like,
I appreciate
do you mind letting the people know like you've done some really dope stuff? Yeah, let them know.
Thanks.
Let them know.
Thanks. Like what do you want to know? Like
you've taken them and you've given them to really awesome people.
Like the
you're
one person that you just met recently.
He's being very humble about it. But like, dude, this guy's killing the game.
Thank you. I always feel like a 12-year-old. I know that my skin is beautiful and brown, but it's blushing right now. I know for a fact it is. But yeah. Okay, so the Lizzo thing.
Yes, the Lizzo thing.
Remember when I said there was gonna be a second little preview of Cam's art? Yeah, that's right now. Check it out.
I'm crying 'cause I love you. Yeah. Never been in love before. What the fuck are fucking feelings, yo? Once upon a time I was a hoe. I don't even want a hoe no more. Got you something from the liquor store. Little bit of Lizzo and some more. Trying to open up a little more. Sorry if my heart a little slow. I thought that I didn't care. I thought I was loving bad. But baby, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm crying 'cause I love you.
Just like, that being the last thing that I did, and like making contact with her team, like when her, what's her Instagram so I can get it right? The Shelby Swain, she is the Beyonce of baby hairs on Instagram. That's her hairstylist. And so just making contact with her when I initially was asking 15 times, I was like, okay, what are y'all's jacket sizes? Give me jacket sizes.
Yes.
And she didn't see it. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be that guy. Cause like a closed
Keeps
mouth
going.
does not get fed. You know what I mean? So I was like, I gotta keep it. I have to get an
I
answer.
love all these analogies.
Yeah.
That you
Like for real.
That's
like
so good.
it's just
Put those on a shirt.
I had to get an answer, and so I just wasn't gonna stop. And I was like, God, I know I'm gonna look like that guy, but like I'm about to look like that guy, so it's whatever. And so she finally saw it, and like she was excited about it, and she was like, "Oh my God! Like this is a dope idea. We need these. Like this would be so hot." And so she was like, "Let me get jacket sizes for you." Da 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 da. And I was like, like initially I was like, "Oh, I've been stalking her on Instagram for so long." I was like, "She just said something to me, so let that sink in."
Right.
And she's like to go off on a tangent. She's just so cool. The whole team is just so humble. You know how they say you shouldn't like meet your idols or whatever, but and you always hope that when you do meet someone, especially that you love and that gives you so much like life and energy and whatever, you're like, just please don't fuck it up.
Right. Please just be everything I want you to be.
Do not mess it up.
Yes.
And when they like live up to it and they're just humble and sweet and whatever. And when I did that mural over on Nebraska and Columbus of Lizzo, purely because I wanted to, and that mural right there, oh my God.
Yes.
I wanted to get it out of my system, and I wanted to first off show
Can we see that pillow?
I wanted to show Tampa, and I wanted to show like the world that murals on
Girls on your pillows too.
Bizarro Designs does all my pillows and all my graphics, and they did my Gaga and my Kim K.
Wow,
like they do
cool.
like dope stuff.
And it feels nice too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
T-shirts. We're working on just a bunch of stuff.
That's
They're
dope.
Sebastian and Mary. They're killing it.
Epic.
Bizarro Designs. But I wanted to. My first goal with that was to. I'm so sorry, my lips are so dry. My first goal was to show that the world can have a big black curvy woman as this like, whether you view it as a sex icon, a pop icon, a beauty icon, whatever you want to like view it as, when you're driving by and you see this picture on a wall, it doesn't have to be some skinny, thigh-gapped girl, no matter what color she is. It doesn't have to be that same old mold of a person or a woman that we always see. You know what I mean? And so when she reacted to that on Instagram, I was already freaking out, and I was like, okay. And
Check it out.
and the excitement didn't go away for me. I was like, I was like, every magazine cover she does, every Insta story, I have notifications turned on for like every social platform that she's on, like all of her stories, all of her whatever's tweets. And so I was like, okay, we're going to like she released tour dates, and at first she wasn't coming to Florida, and then a few months down the road, after we'd already bought tickets to Atlanta because that was the next nearest place, she released a Florida date, and I was like, well, we're going to that too.
Yes.
So before I could even get comfortable with the idea of going to Atlanta, I was like, well, I got to do some like jackets. And so that's what made me reach out to Shelby. And so she gave me the sizes and I was like, okay. I was like, I got the sizes. Now what do I do? It's like, I have to get them, you know, buy the jackets, buy the paint, figure out which picture I'm going to put on the back of each one of them. And yeah, like just being able to create those and do it with love and do it from a place of love and being able to give them to her and each member of the team, Marco, the guy who does her costumes, Alex, the guy who does her makeup, and Shelby, the girl who does her hair, you know, having them react, it was like kids on Christmas. And I just felt so moved by that because their reaction was so genuine, you know what I mean? And
I mean, how many people get a jacket with their face on the back?
That's
seriously, like
yeah.
I mean, because I know if I got one from anybody, I'd be like, you know, just the
idea of the gift,
act of that.
Yeah.
And then having Lizzo, I haven't really told anybody this, but having Lizzo say to me before, like as I was walking up to the meet and greet, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. I love your work. Like, I was like, what? Like, you know what I mean? And just, I was like, well, I guess blowing somebody up does count for something because, you know, I know that Shelby had some sort of verbal interaction with like, he's coming, my birthday's today, da 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 da. It was her birthday. So it was like this party that we kind of created like during the meet and greet, and we kind of went off to the side and we were just doing videos and like dancing and, you know, just all the things. And it was just a beautiful blessing of an experience to be able to do that, because I don't feel like just everybody gets to do that or gets to give something like that to someone that they love so much like I do. You know what I mean? So
that's amazing.
So that's where that came from. Yeah. That's how that happened.
That was incredible. And then she wore it on stage?
Yeah,
oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
She wore it on stage?
Yeah. She
that was incredible.
Charlie, when the music started, and I'm freaking out because I'm like a 3-year-old. I'm like, okay, where's she at? My phone's going, my video. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get the first glimpse of her. Like, where's she at? And she, you know, comes out belting "'Cause I Love You," and I'm like, oh, that's a cute. Wow. I was like, what's she wearing? I was like, that's a funky denim thing with her sleeves rolled up, and it's kind of long and it's cute. And Charlie was like, you know that's your jacket, right? Like, you know that's your jacket she's wearing. And I was like, wait, what? And so that's I don't know if I posted the video. I think I posted the video.
I saw it.
But you know, my initial reaction to it was just screams and just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That's all you could hear. And she didn't have to do that. And then just flipping her hair and like turning and showing it to the auditorium.
Showing the whole back of the jacket. It was I was like, oh my God.
I was just like, wow and thank you.
Yeah.
You know, just like wow and thank you. That's all I got. Yeah.
That's freaking amazing.
That was awesome.
Thanks. It was a rush. Thanks. And I was running on like next to no sleep. I finished one of the jackets like 20 minutes before we were walking to the auditorium.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. You were like working up to the point.
Yeah, I was literally like the two guys' jackets. Lizzo and Shelby's jackets took the longest because Shelby's jackets had all the pink braids and Lizzo's had the hair, and I just wanted to get the face right because it's Lizzo. And so not that I didn't want to spend as much time on Alex and Marco's, but I just didn't have as much time. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna get these done. So I got each of those done in like 3 hours, and I was finishing up details and slapping on the patches that Bizarro Designs did for the backs of the jackets, and that just made the presentation everything as well, because they were all uniform and it looked like a line of jackets. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was humbling and it was a blessing.
That was insane.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm done talking about that. Yeah. I don't want to. I don't want to ramble on and on. But yeah, it was. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Dude, that's
like,
amazing.
Literally.
Dang. So, Pink Cam, we like to end all our podcasts with this one question. Because we like to share our struggles, because like this life is hard, you know, and like people like they might see like the perfect life on Instagram, but like sometimes we're all battling our own stuff like behind the scenes. So what's one thing that you're currently struggling with right now, and what's one thing someone can help you like today?
Ooh, way to humanize me. Yeah, I like that a lot. I would wait. Ask it again, real quick.
So, what's one thing that you're currently struggling with right now, and what's one thing someone can help you if they can? So,
always, and I feel like this would hopefully. I mean, I know that there are people who are really good at it, but I feel like kind of as artists and photographers and creators just in general, time management is the beast.
Literally.
That's like,
Literally.
that's that like little fuzzy pink elephant off in the corner.
In the corner that no one talks about.
And it's just always something that we're trying to work on, and whether it is making our output faster or getting more done, or getting something done on time, or getting making it to a place on time. You know what I mean?
Right.
I always need help with that. Always, and I'm getting better now, I think, but I always like to think that I'm working on it genuinely and being honest with myself. Like, no, it's not okay that don't justify being 5 minutes late. Like, no, it's fine. Da, 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 da.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be, because there have been times where I've been 20 minutes late and not cared. You know what I mean? And this was like early on, and it's just like, oh, it's fine. Like I'm here now. The party can begin. But like I want to, even if I'm gonna be like 10 minutes late to a thing, I want to be like, I am so sorry.
And that's kind of how we felt too. We're like,
please. But
you have to have yourself on a standard.
I just want you guys to know that this living room looked like something else, and if you guys weren't 10 minutes late, I would not have had time to make it look this way.
It looks beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But I'm actually getting ready to officially hire an assistant to help with like kind of social media things, email-y things, communicative things that take me a really long time because you're responding, and then you get another thing that,
and it's kind of like a funnel, and you're like, I can't get out.
And it's like I have this canvas there that I need to go over there and work on, and I'm responding to da-da-da-da-da. So if I can like get it to a point where I can delegate certain things, and I've already started. My friend Will Midkiff helped me get those jackets. He helped run errands. He helped get paint. My sister too. Hey, what do you guys need? While you're doing this, we'll run and do this. You know what I mean? Just really, really, really a cool, dope, supportive system, supportive team. And I'm trying to get to the point where I can officially get an assistant hired to do those things that I can delegate to get done, and do the meat and potatoes of the thing that I need to do. You know,
that makes sense.
So if you're looking to maybe be an assistant for Painkiller Cam, do it. Literally. Yeah. Dang. Well, thank you so much, Painkiller Cam, for taking the time.
Thank you guys
for being on our podcast. It was dope. I can't believe this is your first podcast. You killed it.
I know, for real, killed it.
My first, like,
killed it.
Yeah, who asks me to like be on a podcast? Like, it's kind of
I love it, man.
And a deal too. So thanks.
Before we end this podcast, I just want to give a huge shout out to EV47. He's the one that made the beat for the beginning and end of this podcast. So you should definitely check him out because he's dope. And yeah, peace.
Yes.